Out of all the animation studios, Pixar has always been the most prestigious. They would go from making masterpiece after masterpiece that would redefine cinema as we know it, to releasing Old Man Joe Biden Buzz Lightyear.
I was a foot
And during a time where the Disney name has never been more hated, Pixar is about the closest thing this company has to consistent nowadays. I mean, it's not like they're getting it out of Star Wars anymore.
This is the Clone Wars!
But out of every Pixar film, there's one that I see nothing but absolute vitriol for. A film that is universally despised by everyone on the internet. And by everybody, I mean PNG movie reviewers, aka nobody, because they don't have any souls.
They don't hit the Pentagon!
But that film is, of course, Cars 2. A sequel to one of the more tame and less story-driven Pixar films, and like only really exists to sell choking hazards. But it's the one that's my personal favorite. And I, for one, am sick and tired of all the hate. I am sick and tired of people acting like this is the worst Pixar film when The Good Dinosaur is right goddamn there.
I'm tired of it all!
Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I want to give this movie a fair shot. Is this movie as bad as Gingers and Crabs say? Or is it the greatest cinematic masterpiece ever assembled? The answer is the second one because it has Finn McMissile in it. But without any further ado, here's my look at Cars 2. Before we start though, I'd like to take a minute to talk about today's sponsor, Factor. If you don't know, Factor is an epic mealtime service that'll send quality and healthy meals straight to your doorstep, eliminating the hassle of trying to go out to the store and find ingredients to make your own meals, which if you're not some epic skilled 5-star chef might be pretty hectic. And all Factor's fresh and never frozen meals are chef crafted and dietitian approved. Plus it's good to know that their meals are made with 100% renewable energy and offset 100% of their delivery emissions. It's like all in all from Cars 2 if it didn't make Lightning McQueen explode. I've been trying Factor for months now, and I've got to say I'm absolutely digging their stuff. This month I've opted to go for the Protein Plus meal, which has a bunch of chicken and steaks and all kinds of goodies. And Factor's meals come on these sturdy trays so you won't spill your beans while watching Cars 2. But head on over to Factor75.com and click the link below and use code 50bulba to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50bulba at Factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring, and let's get back into Francesco Bernoulli the movie.
I'ma put all the cameras in their place. When I die, put my money in the grave. Hoof hoof.
So we start out with the iconic Disney castle where the Disney adults plan to be buried, as well as a murder. But now we cut to Zack Snyder Justice League aspect ratio, as Agent Leland Turbo delivers a top secret message to Agent Finn McMissile, saying that he's found something that's bigger than anything they've ever uncovered, but he gets made and has to book it. And then we get what is undoubtedly the hardest title sequence I've ever seen in a movie. I'm serious.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And as we cut to the Gulf of America, where this boat's just kind of cruising along, and like, isn't being like a boat or a plane or a train or something like that in this world just like hell? You're restricted to this certain space, you're too big to fit anywhere? I mean, wouldn't that be like an existential crisis or something?
I don't want to be alive anymore!
But it's revealed that he's carrying a car, none other than Finn McMissile, British intelligence.
Wait a second, those last two words were antonyms.
And he says that he's on the lookout for a car. But then the big evil giant military boat comes in, demanding with brute force that our favorite boatman turn around. But when the boat apologizes to Finn, he's nowhere to be seen. Oh. And as he hides away on the big boy boat, we approach a massive oil platform, and Finn uses his iconic magnet treads to get up there and stop the Bifer Dolphin incident. And as Finn climbs up, he tries alerting Leland Turbo, but to no response. And he spies on all the cars below, and we see the iconic Professor Z.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put this in. Professor Z is Baron von Strucker from Avengers Age of Ultron.
As they open up a case which contains a racing camera, and as Finn's about to open fire, finally we see Agent Leland Turbo. Jesus Christ! They put Turbo the snail into Wally's asshole. And as the light illuminates Finn's shadow, he's been made. And Professor Z shouts for everyone to kick his ass, so he makes his epic Spider-Man getaway. And he jumps from platform to platform as we get the most baller-ass song in the whole film. Come on, you all know the words. But I just love this scene so much because he uses all these random spy gadgets, but they all relate back to car stuff somehow, like him dumping oil on there and then all the other cars slide off and die. This is good. And as Finn climbs up this staircase, he ignites all these barrels and he just kills all these cars. This movie has a body count of like 50 and we are quite literally 5 minutes in. That's like 20 kills a minute, Jesus.
Merrily we fall out of line, out of line.
But Finn makes it all the way up to the tippity top, and as he's surrounded, he has no choice but to dive, just like Haley Steinfeld in the Bumblebee movie.
Where's B-127? Stop.
in the bag.
And Finn opens up his iconic water traversal gear as he makes his epic getaway from the Lemon Brigade. But now the asshat mega boats are on his ass, and one shoots a huge missile and makes direct contact, igniting the water somehow.
What is this freeze flame galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy?
Stupid ass, ugly ass boy, man, what the hell, man?
Like, Mario's supposed to be a family-oriented game, and hell and demons.
But Finn survives the blast and heads underwater. Wait, I just thought of something. Are there like sea creatures in the Cars world? I mean, there's bugs that are VW beetles, but like, are there any other cars that are just like animals in the ocean? Hold on, I'm looking this up. Okay, I looked it up, and in the magazine version of Cars 3, that one line about all the crabs on the beach going night-night, they actually show what the crabs look like. So I guess there are sea creatures in this world? That's crazy.
Lugar distinto para tu paladar. Lo encontrás muy cerca tuyo.
But as Professor Z looks out, assuming Finn's a goner, he says who will stop them now.
Morning, Sleeping Beauty!
But as we cut to Radiator Springs, we see Tow Mater, whose best friend in the whole wide world, Otis, has broken down on the side of the road, and he gives his old friend a tow back to town.
Is Lightning McQueen back yet? He must be crazy excited about winning his 4th Piston Cup.
It would have been 5 if he didn't throw the first one, god damn it.
Oh, hell no!
And as Mater looks out to the town, he sees that McQueen is back, so he just bum rushes his ass. And as he heads over, he throws Otis into Ramon's. And it's always perplexed me because this implies that Ramon, like, works on cars and stuff. I thought he just, like, did painting and stuff like that. I thought that was Doc's job, but he's goddamn dead. And as McQueen and Mater reunite after the divorce, he shows them that they've renamed the Piston Cup after Doc Hudson himself, which is funny because by the third one, they rebranded it back to the normal Piston Cup. And Mater says that he's sure Doc would have been proud to see McQueen win.
Hung by jumper cable.
And as they exit the failed crowdfunding campaign for the Mattel Doc Hudson playset, that was a real thing. I didn't make that up. That was a real thing. It didn't get funded. No one bought this. And Mater says that he's got a ton of crap planned for him and McQueen. Like, for example, going on train tracks without their tires, or going up to this giant-ass, freaking giant-ass dump truck. I ask again, how does something like this live a life? Is it like the first movie where tractors are just like lesser beings and they have no intelligence and they're like cows? Does this thing get rights? I'm confused. And as the duo head back to Radiator Springs, McQueen tells Mater that he wants to hang out with Sally tonight, and he has to reaffirm to Mater he wants it to just be him and Sally because he's trying to get some.
Well, f that, Daddy. Let's tag team that motherfucker.
And Mater's all sad, but like, man, you got the whole day with bro, let him chill. And then McQueen drives off, leaving Mater in the sadness, and then we cut back to the iconic Wheelwell Motel, and my god, there is just no railing there. There's railing right next to it. Why is there none here that they just want to die? But Mater's put on an elaborate disguise in order to pretend to be a waiter, and McLean sees through Mater's BS, so him and Sally order McQueen's usual, and then Mater rushes over to Guido.
Guido, what's McQueen's usual?
Come faccio a saperlo?
Perfect, give me 2 of them.
Dude, what the hell did he just say?
Perfect, give me 2 of them, 2 of them, 2 of them.
And as the gang watches the Mel Dorado show, he talks about the story of Sir Miles Axelrod, an oil billionaire who was left in the wilderness to fend for himself, and afterwards he sold his oil companies and converted into an electric car, and he now claims to have found a safe, sustainable alternative fuel, that of course being All in All. And to show the world what All in All is capable of, he started a racing competition with all the top racers from across the globe.
Fossil, as in dead dinosaurs.
What happened to the dinosaurs now?
Crazy how, like, 11 years after this came out, we got, like, actual Cars dinosaurs, and they look stupid. And then there's this really funny part where he brings on Francesco Bernoulli, voiced by that one guy from Transformers 1, 2, 3, and 5.
This is like a do whatever I want and get away with it badge.
Right.
I'm gonna lock you up.
Buy my book! Buy my book! Before it's too late, people!
And then, like, without even asking Francesco a single question or anything, Mel just immediately asks Axelrod, and he's like, why not invite Lightning McQueen? Like, McQueen was not brought up in this conversation whatsoever at all once. It just comes out of literally nowhere. This is really good. And after Francesco starts trash-talking McQueen, it pisses off Mater, so he calls into the show, and he starts going back and forth with Francesco about the quality of McQueen's axle grease, and it sets off Lightning's iconic McQueen sense, so he rushes over to see what the commotion is.
His name is
Francesco Bernoulli. No wonder there's a crowd.
Man, Sally's just a hoe, ain't she? And he grabs Mater out of the telephone booth thingy and starts talking to Francesco himself.
Not so fast, McQueen!
Not so fast. What is that, your new motto?
That was fucking clean. And as Francesco gets server muted, Axelrod asks McQueen if he wants to join them in the World Grand Prix. And once he sees that his team is ready to go, he says to deal him in. And then Sally's perfectly fine with it, just as long as he agrees to take Mater with him. And McQueen's a bit hesitant for obvious reasons. Larry the Cable Guys are very docile but high maintenance creatures.
I pissed my pants. The toilet was just too full.
But Sally says do it or your bumper is sleeping on the couch.
Mater.
I didn't taste it.
And McQueen asks Mater if he wants to come and see the world with him. And as the best part of the whole movie starts, we get the iconic Weezer cover to You Might Think, combined with shots of McQueen and Mater being best buds while they go to Tokyo, as well as McQueen getting a sleek new paint job, as well as actual headlights. I could ask more lore questions. Why doesn't McQueen have them at birth or whatever, but like the other cars do? But we get all these crazy shots of Tokyo, and finally our gang arrives at DashCon or whatever, and McQueen tells Mater to be on his best behavior, but he doesn't want to eat his green beans, Daddy.
Whoops.
And as Mater pisses off, McQueen hangs out with two of his old racing buddies. Never seen or heard from these guys before, but they're gonna be on the Target toy aisle in 2011, you better believe it.
It's a giant lightning.
And then we get this really good line.
You done good. You got all the leads.
And as McQueen tries to get Mater to stop being such a goddamn mess, Mater misinterprets what he's saying and he goes to say hi to Francesco Bernoulli, and he completely embarrasses McQueen in front of Francesco, as he says that he's gonna dedicate his win tomorrow to Miss Sally. And McQueen says that he would too, but he doesn't have a drink. So Mater goes off to get him a drink, and I really like the animation in this shot. I don't know why, I just find it really funny for some reason. And as McQueen's about to leave, we get the reveal of Francesco's epic bumper sticker.
So you had one of those made up for all the racers?
Hey, Luigi.
And then we cut back to Finn McMissile, who's at the party and meets up with another car and turns out to be some British spy lady. And as the two of them discuss super top secret mega spy Johnny Test stuff,
I blew up Malaysia.
she tells Finn that there's an American spy in the building and that he's ready to do a meet and greet. But Finn notices the dudes from the oil platform, so he tells Holly Shiftel that she's gonna have to go and meet the American spy Stan Smith man herself. And we cut back to Mater, who's about to have the greatest moment of his entire life, where he, and I quote, sees a man who is serving ice cream. Therefore, he informs the minimum wage worker that he would enjoy a scoop of the ice cream. However, the worker rebukes, telling him, quote, no, wasabi. But in his ignorance, Mater decides to push forward with the concept, obtaining a heavy scoop to the horror of the worker. However, we cut back to McQueen and Miles Axelrod, who have a discussion on stage about professionalism and excellence in the sport of racing.
Oh, quick relief.
Spilling the milk be like, thinking of me when I see the girl from Rio.
And as McQueen tries to apologize, Axelrod is being drenched in Mater's excitement, but Mater's more so confused because he never leaks oil. Never. So McQueen yells at him and tells him to clean himself up. You raggedy old hag. So Mater goes over to the bathroom and he can't decide which one is male and female. And he goes in the wrong one, but it's okay because we live in the futuristic far-off year of 2024. And as Mater steps into the bathroom, he's amazed to see the DDR dance pad of a toilet. And as he goes in, he hops in a Discord call with Quite Nux Taku. But as Mater's being pleasured at something, the American spy rolls in whilst in a disguise, and as he sees the two lemons come in, he tries pulling out his weird, like, wheel gun thing, and like bro looks directly at them before doing this, like he is not even trying. And as they start duking it out, Mater's trying not to be murdered in the goddamn piss chamber. As the lemons are about to get the killing blow, Mater the Greater whacks them with a door. Insert metal pipe bang sound effect.
Whatever you do, I would not go in there.
But then the American spy implants a magical artifact onto Mater's ass carriage, as he gets ushered out by the bad boys. And as Mater hops out of the laboratory...
Is she American?
Look out, ladies. Mater's fitting to get funky.
Extremely.
Holly goes up to Mater and asks him the secret spy question, and Mater just so happens to get it right because it's just like a question about car manufacturing and stuff. That's basically the FBI's secret code being that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And as she starts rambling to Mater and he doesn't understand what the hell's happening, she tells him that they'll rendezvous tomorrow during the race in Tokyo. So Mater goes up to the Radiator Springs gang and tells him that he's got a date.
Non ci credo.
Guido don't believe you.
However, cut to some random warehouse in Tokyo, and the American spy has been taken by the lemons. They don't say his name, so let me look it up on the Mattel toy. Okay, his name is Agent Rod Redline. Bro is blue, though. I remember I had the damaged version of him as a kid, not the real one. And as he gets filled up with All-in-All, he's confused because he thinks that All-in-All is good for you. But Professor Z comes in and says that on its own it is. However, when exposed to electromagnetic pulses, it becomes even more dangerous than Arby's. But they start asking him which car is his informant, and he pulls out the sickest burn in history.
Your mother.
And as the scene gets more intense, he keeps getting shown different cars he talked to, whilst his insides start boiling, and eventually he sees Mater and his eye glances, and they immediately just gather that it's him. Bro is not good at body language, dear God. And they just like keep going, and they blow him the hell away, dear God. I know this is the only thing this movie's remembered for, but like, Jesus Christ, this movie's grim. This is that classic Michael Bay, it's okay if we show just actual gore as long as it's robots rule.
No, Optimus!
And they wanted kids to ask for the little diecast of this for Christmas. I mean, they're gonna be playing with a corpse. But as we cut to the first race of the World Grand Prix in Tokyo, as all the racers get to their starting line, we get a voiceover from all the announcers, which includes a British car making me sad. Bro, look at the design of the British race car in this movie. He's so dull and boring. He fits his country perfectly.
I am Speed.
Really? You're Speed? You in, bro?
And as the race begins, I'm just gonna say that this movie has not aged a day. The Cars movies have always been so pretty, and this one shows it off perfectly. I think it's because the characters are just so easy to animate compared to other things like Mike Wazowski and stuff. So they just dump a lot of the budget into crazy-ass environments, and it shows. I love this so much. Plus, they got FNAF security breach, steel wall ray tracing. This is crazy. And as McMissile and Shiftwell look down at the pits, Holly starts playing SimCity on her iPad.
I wanted to talk for a while about what the past 3 years have been like.
You are not a nice guy.
And they wonder why the hell Mater's still there, and they assume it's just some really good cover. And as McQueen makes it to the dirt section of the track, it allows him to pass Francesco Bernoulli. And as they make it back to the asphalt, the lemons are locked and loaded, ready to start using that camera in order to make them go boom boom. Nice of them to place it right next to the pits though, that's convenient. But because of that, they spot Mater and start to move in.
What about him? He's in the pits.
You fucking stupid dumbass kid. You.
And as Finn and Holly see this, Finn jumps into action as Holly hacks into the Discord call between McQueen and Mater, telling him to get the hell out of there. And then they blow up another car, being the orange Francesco looking one. And I distinctly remember as a kid, I had literally every World Grand Prix racer except for him. I could never find him at the store. I was so confused. Like I had a genuine tinfoil hat theory as a kid.
There's no Rip Klutchgonski.
Gotta be kidding me! I got boxes full of
Rip Klutchgonski.
Because I had this big launcher carrying case playset thingy, and every single slot was designated to a different racer except for the orange Francesco guy. So I just assumed that they just like never made a toy of him for some reason, even though they did. I was so confused and mad and sad. And as the lemons are about to close in on the Mater gang, we get hard as hell line number 40,000.
Finn McMissile, but you're dead.
Then this shouldn't hurt at all.
As Mater walks around and tries to find his lady date, and he says the word outside, confusing McQueen into going into the outside of the track, allowing Francesco to pass him. But meanwhile, McMissile is fighting a bunch of cars and, again, dead. This movie is grim. And while all this is happening, McQueen finishes second, and Finn looks out to the heavens and Spider-Man's away. You guys think if there was a Spider-Man car in this world, he'd be named Spider-Van?
I know you because I watched the Frozen movie.
And after the race, Mr. Clean goes up to Mater, asking him why the hell he was reading out his weird fanfic on the mic, and then he says that he lost the race because of you. And Mater's all sad, and McQueen says the iconic line,
I don't need your help. I don't want your help.
Most justified crash out of all time. Doesn't matter though, because in the next one he has a real crash out. And as Mater drives off in absolute sadness, the news starts playing a story about how all the 3 cars blew the hell up, and they ask Axelrod if it had anything to do with All in All, to which he says nuh-uh. And Mater looks at this random sign at the airport that just has him on it for some reason, and he strolls off to get onto his flight back home.
You need to stop. There are children. Please stop.
Pistachio ice cream.
And we get this funny bit where the car goes into the metal detector. That would never work, silly. And this random guard who just looks like Finn McMissile scurries Mater away. And wait, how he doing that? And as the two introduce themselves, Finn realizes that they're being followed, so he does that thing that Puss in Boots does in Shrek 2, and he hops out of this iconic Japanese window. Starting an epic chase throughout the landing bay of the airport, where they use all kinds of funny car gadgets and doodads, and while Finn's trying to get him and Mater onto their stinky British spy jet, with Finn eventually sending this one lemon into the Disney Plus Star Wars bin.
I realized it while editing. Why are these 5 people down here in like the SML gaming room?
So guys, what do you want to do today?
And then eventually landing onto the plane, which has the number A113 on the top fin. This is actually a reference to the room A113 from the CalArts Institute, where several Pixar employees were actually trained. And meanwhile, the team of McQueen finds the note that Mater left, detailing how he's gonna go home in order to save McQueen the burden of losing to a European once more.
PPS, that's funny right there, PP.
PP.
And as the spy gang discuss current matters on the plane, Holly takes the doodad thing out of Mater's rectal cavity, inserting it into the computer without even cleaning it. And as they look at the photo, it's just some random image, and Holly's confused why Mater doesn't know the origin of the photo. But while the two spies can't find Dick in the photo, Mater's able to point to a bunch of rare original parts in the top right corner like Game Explained.
Like a good neighbor, Mater is there.
It's
Mater.
from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
What are you wearing?
Mater.
From State Farm.
And Finn says that he knows a black market parts dealer in Paris. So Mr. Epic JJ of the airplane heads forth. Cut to the gang in Paris and they, hold on a sec, are there tiny planes like birds? But there was the whole movie about planes. Are these just giant bird people? But as the trio head to this random flea market, Mater's looking around when he stumbles upon this iconic beauty. But as they spot the informant who has 3 wheels for some reason, would this be considered a disability in the Cars world?
I have osteoporosis.
Big man, huh? You wanna... Big man.
Then Mater accidentally blows their cover, so they gotta chase after the bastard, until Holly catches him and tases him because of his differing paint color. And as McMissile tells Mater to tow him over to this random warehouse, the informant tells him that he sold these parts to an anonymous buyer. And Mater says that lemons are always gonna need parts like these, to which he explains what a lemon is to Finn.
Mater, are these cars considered lemons?
Is the Pope-mobile Catholic?
What does God car look like? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. The very first image that comes up is an edit of Strip Weathers that calls him Jesus Chrysler. Yeah, I'm good, we're done. Actually, wait, this reminds me of that one line from the first movie.
Thank the manufacturer, you're alive!
So they don't have a god, but they have the great manufacturer. Do cars just fall out of the damn sky in this universe? But the 3-wheeled tripod car tells the gang that they have a secret meeting of the lemons in Italy, so they hop onto their iconic train and get a move on. And as they hack into CCTV footage, they find footage of another tow truck towing a lemon, so Holly gets a bright idea. And I really like this shot out of context, this is really good.
Who is this?
Hello, this is Camille Habib.
But as we cut back to the McQueen gang after like 5 hours, they find themselves in Italy, to Guido and Luigi's delight. And they meet up with their iconic Uncle Topolino, and they have a fun little party as the sun sets. And McQueen is down in the dumps because Mater dipped. So Mr. Topolino talks to McQueen about what happened with Mater.
Ma guarda, sta morendo di fame. Gli preparerò una bella cena così in grazia.
And during this conversation, we get this really funny shot that I enjoy a lot. But as we cut back to the train, Holly's installed a disguise device into Mater that's voice activated, to which he starts immediately playing with it.
He was dressed as a yodeler.
And as Holly tries to calibrate the disguise, she has to undo all of Mater's dents, to which he's like, oh hell nah! Cause all them dents is way too valuable to him, and he's come across each one with his bestest friend in the whole wide world, Lightning McQueen. And the other spies still think that this is all part of Mater's big act.
Right, and Mischief Wells is designing iPhone apps.
Was there a car Steve Jobs? I mean, there was a Smurf Steve Jobs. And as the gang arrive in Italy, the next race is about to begin, and Miles Axelrod once again proclaims the safety of all in all, and McQueen's still all sad because of Mater and all that, and also the fact that he's on the same track as a British race car, to which Francesco tries a bit of a heart-to-heart with McQueen, but is undermined because Mama Francesco shows up. Iconic character, can't wait to buy a toy of this one. Look, I can make them race. But the race begins as evil blue tow truck is laughing about, as Holly comes up to him with a fake story about how her grand car is broken down, making the big bad tow truck step on in, and as Finn talks to Mater over the intercom,
Hi guys, Mordecai and Rigby 3036 SpongeBob 909 here.
He tells him to just play the fool, to which that's what he's been viewing Mater as this whole time, assuming the stupid actions were all just part of some elaborate act, not knowing that that's what Mater just really feels deep down inside. And as he gets all sad because he's being made fun of, there's no time, so he has to pretend to be the other guy, towing the old lemon into the compound. Meanwhile, the race gets into high gear, but no, you don't get to see none of that. Go back to Mater plot. And as he goes on to the intercom thingy and picks up that everybody's a wanted man, he heads into this room and awaits the big boss man. However, it's just the Guten Tag, and he tells the gang that the leader won't be making it today, so instead he just Zoom calls and points the camera at his engine again, but he tells the world that the lemons will have their retribution. Retribution for being made fun of and demeaned for years and years, as he blows the hell out of Carla Veloso from Brazil, that fucking bird that I hate. And he tells the world that it's their time to laugh back. And as the British car goes down, we stay winning, boys. My blood bleeds red, white, and blue. But Holly detects the camera from the oil rig on top of a tower, so Finn locks in and gets a move on. And all this makes everyone turn their backs on all in all once and for all. And as McMissile jumps across building to building, he's about to kick the ass of the lemons. That is until, oh Jesus Christ, not the magnet. Did he really not notice the damn helicopter, bro? And as one final Japanese car blows up, it causes a 15-car pileup, and it's okay because McQueen knows what to do. But as McQueen gets that big fat dub, it's the only thing that matters. And they see on the other monitors that all their friends are dead. And while all this happens, Miles Axelrod comes out into the crowd proclaiming that he can't risk the lives of any more racers, and that the final race in London will not be using All in All. And as they take away Finn, Holly tries to make a getaway, but is caught by the boys. And as McQueen comes onto the TV, they tell him that he has a choice of fuel in the final race, so he picks All in All. Simply because his friend Fillmore says it's safe, and that's good enough for him. Thank you, Fillmore.
I'm out of here, bye. I hate for that Scott Cawthon.
And as Professor Z says that All in All must be finished, he says they're gonna take out Lightning McQueen. But then Mater backs into the monitor and his little disguise thing goes all hooky. And as they open fire, he says "Dad gun," making his guns come out when he didn't mean to. That's funny right there. And he says shoot and it starts shooting. Oh God, that's a knee slapper. But he says he didn't mean that kind of shoot, so a parachute opens and he starts flying away. And as he sees McQueen in the distance, he parasails on this random-ass boat and crash lands into a Francesco hotspot. And as he tries to bum rush the gate and get in, he keeps screaming to McQueen, who thinks he hears Mater in the distance, so he has to Leroy Jenkins right into the compound.
Let's do this, Leroy!
And McQueen swears that he can see him as he tries to tell McQueen that they're gonna kill him. And as he gets all the way out in the crowd, it's just the blue tow truck guy again, to McQueen's despair. And as they kidnap Mater in broad daylight, okay buddy, they shove him into this container thingy and start to poison gas. And Mater has this trippy sequence where people call him nothing but names, and it replays his stupidest and most idiotic moments throughout the entire film. And this is good because we actually get to see him eating the pistachio ice cream. It's so good.
You are not a nice guy.
And as he wakes up, he realizes that he's inside a big Bentley, alongside Holly and Finn. And as Mater tries to say that this is all his fault and that he's a fool, Finn's saying that he was just playing an act and he's just a fantastic spy.
I'm not a spy.
It could be me. He could even...
And we get the classic, oh, I've kept you alive so you could get a front row seat at what we're gonna do with this bad thing, woo! And as we cut to the pits where all the friends from Radiator Springs are up and at it, McQueen's sad and confused that Mater still isn't there, and they say the Sarge is talking to his friends in the British military, which I find unlikely because British people don't have friends, and Miles Axelrod comes in personally to thank McQueen for sticking with All in All through thick and thin. And as the Queen waves her token of gratitude, the race officially begins and blah blah blah, they start running amok and then the lemons are gonna shoot them all down. And as they start in on the camera, absolutely nothing happens. And Professor Z is screaming in German like that one funny video of Mustache Man. And Professor Z tells him to go to the backup plan, that being that they snuck an explosive into McQueen's pits.
Instead of saying ka-chow, he's gonna go kaboom.
That was a good old reference. You're doing so good at your job, John Lasseter. And as Mater says dadgum, he realizes that it'll loosen the restraints just a wee tad. So when he's alone, he says it over and over and over until he's free. And the spies tell Mater to leave them and go save McQueen. So he busts on out and gets ready to steal the crown for Scarlet Overkill. And the spies are all sitting there wondering how the hell they're gonna get out of this one, until Holly realizes that she can reverse the clock with her taser. But as they go the other way, now they're gonna be killed by the other side. So they burn rubber and are able to escape. And then Holly just has wings and crap now. Like she literally said in the beginning that she's just technical and she isn't a field agent. Then why the hell she got wings then? Her movie's fucking gay, dude. The movie's gay as hell. Every time a bell rings, the Holly Shiftwell gets its wings, and John Lasseter gets 5 more prison sentences. And as Mater shows up to the pits, he tells everybody to get the hell out. That is until Finn calls him and tells him that the bomb is on him. And then McQueen shows up and wants to have a grand reunion with Mater, but he's just like, get the hell away from me. Starting this epic chase scene where McQueen is chasing after Mater driving backwards. And I like this because how is in any way Mater going faster than McQueen at all? And as the professor's about to blow everything up, McQueen grabs onto Mater as he opens up his jet boosters, and the professor's unable to get that dub because they're out of range.
Birmingham, if you want the fucking brawl, come down to Civic Hospitality.
And now the two are cratering down the freeway or whatever.
What is happening? There's a battery.
As Holly gets that Vic Roy on the professor. Starting a chase scene where Finn's trying to track him down to the boats. And as they're being grabbed by a big magnet.
What is happening?
Finn's gotta dodge all the missiles and crap because his healer's being useless, until he gets the idea to use a bunch of bombs to blow him up to Kingdom Come. And as Holly chases after the lemons, she makes them go sky high, flying into a bar that has a Brave reference on the wall.
Ratatouille, Finding Nemo, and Up, in that order. During these 3 movies, we will see the kind of interactions that eventually lead these 3 races to war.
Beast Jedi!
And as they all meet up, Mater spills everything and McQueen's just confused, I don't blame him. And the professor shows up and he tells the gang that the bomb has been voice activated. And when Mater tries to say deactivate, he sets the timer for 5 minutes. And Holly tells the professor to say it, and when he does, he's just so fly about it.
I'm not the one who activated it.
Would anyone else like to try?
And as our gang is surrounded with minutes until Boom Boom, Mater tries having a heart-to-heart with all the lemons, saying that he's been made fun of his whole life too. And just because of that, they don't need to take their aggression out on other people.
Yeah, but it's worth a shot.
Where all the boys from Radiator Springs are here at last, which is a cool little scene because they've only been in the movie for like 5 seconds. Though to be fair, Lizzie ain't here. She could wreck shit, or hell, put Stanley in there, he could do some damage. And as they all get arrested and sent to Guantanamo, I think. Guantanamo is really bad, it's probably in Europe. And as Guido tries to unscrew the bomb, none of his wrenches can fit the bolts. But then Mater has a eureka moment from 6th grade English class, and realizes exactly what he needs to do. But he doesn't have the strength to do it, until McQueen tells him that he's exactly what the world needs. And that if someone doesn't want to take him seriously, then that's their problem. And as the two make their getaway, Mater ignites his boosters once more, and he ignites his iconic parachute, allowing the two to fly over where the Queen is headed. And when Mater has the floor to himself, he drops the bomb.
Bomb! Bomb! This man claims to have a bomb! Evacuate the building!
And as they all surround him and cause an absolute mass pandemonium, he accuses Miles Axelrod of sabotaging the entire race, since the bolts fastening the bomb were the same bolts from the engine photo, and that it was Axelrod leaking oil at the party and just blaming it on Mater, and he's completely faking being an electric car. And when Holly asks why Miles Morales would do any of that, Mater says it was so the world would completely reject alternative fuel, and the Queen is just like waiting and sitting there the whole time wanting to watch. How the hell has she not been ushered out of this place like 10 minutes ago? Jesus Christ.
What if? You're basing this on a what if?
Kevin Feige's releasing a what if on Disney Plus. And when the Queen gets ushered out, Axelrod is just left there to die. And when everything's about to blow, he says deactivate, and the bomb just like completely doxes him. This is good, proving Mater's correctness in everything. And when he flips the hood, it's a perfect match to the one in the photo. And McQueen says that Mater's coming to all his races from now on. But cut over to Buckingham Palace, where Mater's trying to make all the royal guardsmen break, and it's really goofy. And Mater's let into the compound. He's knighted to be Sir Tow Mater, and he introduces McQueen to the Queen, McQueen to McMissile, and McMissile to McQueen, and the Queen to McMissile. And we cut back to good old Radiator Springs, and Mater's telling his good old stories to the customers of Flo's V8 Cafe, and Minnie and Van from the first movie are there, and it's very epic, while Holly and the gang swoop on in.
He's a secret agent. Don't tell nobody.
And Holly self-identifies herself as Mater's girlfriend, to the shock of literally everybody. And when Flo points out that she's got a big old dent, she says that she's gonna keep that one, as it's way too valuable, as someone once told her. And when McQueen changes the subject and asks why the death ray didn't make him explode, we learn that all in all was just regular gasoline the whole time, except that it was reverse engineered to go kaboom boom. And McQueen's like, wait Fillmore, you said all in all was safe. And we learn that quite possibly Fillmore just didn't trust Axelrod and he switched out the gas, except not because it was Sarge who did that. This bro went woke. And as we cut to the newly founded Radiator Springs Grand Prix thingy, as they stop to say hi to Sally, Francesco sees McQueen's new bumper sticker, and as the racers start their engines, the green light marks go just like Team Sonic Racing. And all of our boys and the one girl race their hearts out, going across Willie's Butte and having the time of their lives. I don't know how the hell any of them are gonna do the turn thingy and not just end up in the big cactus pit, like, okay. And as our spies look out from the distance, they've gotta go, but they ask Mater if he wants to come be a spy with them, and he tells them that this is home. And Holly says that she'll be back because he still owes her that first date. And when Finn says to Mater that if there's anything that he ever needs, just ask. We get the iconic line from the first movie.
Actually, there is one thing.
And as Mater rockets across Willie's Butte and all across Radiator Springs, he catches up to McQueen and says that they let him keep the rockets. And the two blast off as we get a wink from the good old British spy plane guy. And then we get the credits with the best song ever, Collision of Worlds.
Better Man. I didn't know this. It's Better Man. It's Robbie Williams, Better Man, who sang the Cars 2 credits song. We are back, bitches.
And we get to see that McQueen and Mater got to have that world trip after all. And that they got to go to the pyramids to film with Mr. Beast. Today I buried Ava Tyson in the pyramids for betraying me. And there you go. There's Cars 2. This is probably one of the more interesting films I've talked about so far. Like, I've reviewed some movies that are pretty batshit insane, but this one reaches new heights. The first movie's like, you know, a nice little movie about a race car who learns through thick and thin the meaning of friendship and belonging. And this one's just about spies and guns and murder in Wally. Like, this movie knows no bounds. It's absolutely not the sequel anyone was expecting. And I'm not gonna act like it was the smash hit everybody wanted, but I'm gonna be so real. I find it kind of impossible for me to hate this. I'm someone who you give me any movie that's just pure random nonsense. It can be movie poorly written, poorly structured, and everything in between, and I wouldn't even know if I call this movie that in particular. It has some alright themes and moments that really go into Mater's character, and of course some lines and moments that are absolute gold. I mean, the spy characters are just iconic. Finn McMissile's theme song. Bro, have you listened to the Cars 2 3DS soundtrack? Dear Lord.
You are not a nice guy.
Finn McMissile's a cool-ass spy car with all sorts of gadgets and stuff. Holly's just kind of there, but she's cool. I like her. And then you got Francesco, easily top 3 character of the entire franchise. But yeah, is the plot stupid? Of course it is. Does it make any sense? Not really. But I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of not easy to hate this one for me. This movie may be absolutely stupid, but it's so lovable and goofy. It's just too innocent. It's not like there's any sort of character assassination or anything like that in this one. If anything, I think it builds off McQueen and Mater's relationship from the first one pretty well. And I don't care what anyone says, McQueen was justified in that crash out. But I think the main reason why this movie's so infamous is because it was the first. Before this, Pixar was seen as the studio that released nothing but masterpiece after masterpiece. And they continued that with this movie because they had Francesco, but we're not ready for that conversation, are we? But when this movie came out, it was absolutely torn to shreds. It was literally just that gif of Patchy ripping down all the SpongeBob memorabilia. Pixar had managed to go from the untouched gods of animation to making stupid, dumb, baby, stupid, dumb movie with Toad Chuck who says dadgum. The internet treated this movie like it was the boogeyman plague, and they still do. It's just stupid because there are movies that Pixar has made that are arguably so much worse. If you're about to tell me with a straight face that Cars 2 is somehow worse than either Lightyear or The Good Dinosaur, you are genuinely high.
You must be high! That's how high you are! You're on the clouds!
I mean, hell, just look at some of Disney's stuff. Ralph Breaks the Internet is such a worse sequel. It's not like this one ruined the main character of the whole goddamn franchise. I say the main reason why people don't like this movie is, oh, it focuses on Mater instead of McQueen. And to that I say, that is a fair criticism. But the thing is, I like Mater. Dadgum. Some people say this movie is just like an extended version of Mater's Tall Tales. And I don't see what the problem is, because Mater Tall Tales... I just choked on a fruit roll-up, I'm not joking. Mater's Tall Tales is awesome, and having Mater the Greater. Cars 2 is just an extended version of Mater's Tall Tales. You act like that's a bad thing. Is Cars 2 the greatest movie of all time? The law requires that I answer no. The Bubble Squirtle fan of me saying yes, but the Shafeless fan of me saying no. But all this bad press online just scared the living hell out of Pixar. And it honestly sucks because when they made Cars 3, it's so obvious that they were petrified of this one. They practically act like this movie never happened. Mater was just relegated to like a few cameos in the third one. I just realized Mater was totally set up to be his crew chief from now on, and then in the beginning of Cars 3, he just doesn't even have a crew chief. Like, they didn't even let Mater have that, bruh. And there's not a single mention of stuff like the spies or Mater still having his jet boosters. Man, fuck Cars on the Road for having that whole episode where Mater was wanting to go fast. He did already, but you bitches won't let him. And they took this man's coochie. They done this boy wrong. What is this video? I just found this video called You Might Think Blue Lightning McQueen. It's just the You Might Think scene. It's just like an AMV and they made him blue. Why is he blue? This is from 13 years ago and it has 16 million views. What is going on? What the fuck is this channel? Hold on. Green Iron Man. I have to watch Green Iron Man right the hell now. He's just green. You didn't cheat. You just made him green. What is going on?
Look at this fat, giant, morbidly obese squirrel.
Don't you cry, little Bulba Squirtle fan. Uncle Bulba's got enough Cars 2 glazing to feed you your entire life. Jerry, get on the Feedos and the boy's hungry.
Other than that, though, I think it's time for me to talk about some funny marketing. Like, for example, State Farm. Yeah, I remember when Mater was like a good neighbor, Mater is there. Yeah, that was part of a cross-promotion, where we got this iconic State Farm commercial, which features the 3 spies as they interact with a State Farm gang, including the OC of this campaign, Sarah Safe Street. I totally said it right the first time. It's Safe Street. And surprisingly, she doesn't have a Mattel diecast car of her. However, she does have this big plushy pillow car thing. I don't know how exactly you got this. I'm sure it was some bonus for like signing up for State Farm or like being at some promo event. But it's so strange to me because they'll make a diecast car of literally anyone. Bro, they made Green Tongue Mater Wasabi variant, but not Sarah Slayflight. This is bullcrap, man. After that, though, I found this random picture on this website I have no idea the origin of, but from what I can tell, it seems like they had some sort of on-tour event with this makeshift Mack truck. It's definitely official because they got like that Blu-ray and DVD and advertising logos on the car and stuff. So I guess the whole gist of this one is that they went around Australia, seemingly, and all these kids got to meet their hero, Mack. Could not be a bigger day. Oh yeah, then I found this funny commercial.
The race is on. Everything Cars 2 now at Target. Disney Pixar's Cars 2 only in theaters.
But now I gotta talk about Squinky's Boys, you see. Because if you were a real one, you remember that commercial? It's like, Squinky's Boys, Squinky's Boys. They're called Squinky's Boys because Squinkies were like these little girl toys. And then they made a bunch of like Marvel and robots and aliens versions of them. And they were specifically marketed as, and I quote here, Squinky's Boys. And they were just like these little tiny rubber things that were like Grocery Gang and Shopkins, but more squishy. But these ones had a deal with Cars 2, where I remember having a bunch of these as a kid. And it was like this twisty machine where you'd put in like a fake coin, and then you twist the crank and a little capsule comes out with a Squinky inside. So you can have Tow Mater fight like General Grievous or whatever kids played with. I remember getting this and losing it somehow in the span of like a day. I don't know how I managed that. I am genuinely kind of impressed looking back. I also remember finding the red one in like a parking lot full of gravel, just like half buried under all the rocks and stuff. So that was that. But after all was said and done, while I was editing this video, I stumbled across something from my childhood, and I thought I'd blind react to it with you all, cause why not? So yeah, cut to that, go. This here is my childhood in a box. So I'm gonna open this up. This has not been opened in like actual years. And I got Rexy here for emotional support, I guess. So let's flip this on up and see what we got here. Right off the bat, we got Mack's trailer. Very nice. Opens up as you do. I have some cars up there. I'll put B-roll up on the screen. They're all behind my Funko sodas, all like the main ones. Okay, I just found this big ass Francesco Bernoulli. This thing's wild. I don't think it does anything. I think it's just like, yeah, it's just a little plastic one. It's not die cast or anything. Okay, here's a banger. We got Finn McMissile in his, like... I just dropped him. We got Finn McMissile here in his, like, submarine mode. This is wild. Look at that. He is pissed off. Okay, I remember this one from my childhood because I was so confused with this one. The Japanese World Grand Prix racer. But this one, it has rubber tires, and I thought it was always weird, and then I found out, like, a few weeks ago that that's just a thing that they did. They had, like, alternate ones that had rubber tires, and I was so confused because I always assumed that this was, like, a special one, and that they just gave him rubber tires for some reason. What in Christ's name is this? I think this is a McDonald's toy from the first Cars, but what in God's name happened to him, bruh? Why is it just cut off there? The rest is just like a giant sticker, I think. That's unreal. Look at that. I think he's a wind-up, I assume. Oh, he does a wheelie. How cool. Okay, I don't remember this one really, but this is Cars 3 Lightning McQueen, but he's like metallic and stuff, which is, it's not the Rusty's Racing Center one, which I also have. I think it's probably in this somewhere, but he's just Lightning McQueen, but metallic. That's kind of bizarre. Oh, look who it is! We got our boy! Dude, he is not doing too hot. Bro is a goner, dude. Got another Finn McMissile here, and it's kind of funny because these both have his little, like, his little mirrors, and I distinctly remember my main one that's over there. They're broken off in the actual one because I played with that one, because what is a child supposed to do with this thing? Here we got the iconic scene where Ramon sprays one of the lemons with his, like, spray paint, I guess. Okay, this one's pretty wild. Get out of here. Lenticular eyeball mater. There you go. Look at that. That's nutty. I know Cars collectors, like, despise these things, which is really funny. And he was attached to our boy, the British World Grand Prix car, everybody's favorite. He genuinely looks so more vibrant on the toy. He's, like, actually metallic. He's still gay, though. I found red, but he's just, like, missing his back tires. Our boy is out of here, dude. Okay, so I guess I'm just an idiot. I did have him. I have no memory of owning this. I could have sworn I only had that. I know at least I got the other one first. That's very bizarre. Well, now we're getting deep. All right, we've got two here of the, like, end credit scene, like, Pixar cameo cars. We got the Sully monster truck and the Woody mobile. This is absolutely massive. Okay, I do not remember buying all these from Cars 3, but like, here's two more. Here's McQueen from the beginning of the film where he has the Rusty's paint job without like the main, like the weird horizontal logo. And then here is Rusty's Racing Center McQueen. Yeah, this one's a personal favorite. I actually really like this design. This design goes hard. Dude, Dynaco Chick Hicks, we are back in business. I'm pretty sure these are my childhood Cars 1 and 2 McQueens, so that's pretty funny. Here's a strange little oddity. This is a Dusty Crop Hopper Micro Drifter. They were just these little tiny ones that didn't have wheels. They had these like metallic marble thingies on the bottom and they just like drifted around. You just kind of like, yeah. Look at this Guido, bro. What is he doing? Oh, here we go. We got Dynaco Lightning McQueen. Let's go. Ooh, now this is heat right here. Tokyo Mater Lightning McQueen. I don't have Tokyo Mater, but I have this boy. And this guy is legendary. Look at that. That guy's the GOAT. I found this. Bro, I had Daryl Car Trip this whole time and nobody told me, dude. Here's just like an array of World Grand Prix racers. That's pretty cool. I'm not including the British one because he's somewhere and I don't know where he is, but I don't know where he is and that makes me happy. I don't want to be in the same room as him. 3 separate versions of Mater the Greater. We got Scuba Mater, Normal Mater, and then like Alistair cosplay Mater. Blah, 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 blah. Holy crap, oh my god, this one's big. This is another micro drifter from Planes, but this is the bad guy Plane who's voiced by Roger Craig Smith. This one's kind of funny. This isn't like a car, it's an eraser. There you go. Yeah, it pops out and then it's just like an eraser with like a little cap on it. And you're supposed to bring that to school and get bullied, I guess. I got the Hammobile. I just found this. And I know exactly what this is from. This is part of a Burger King kids meal toy box thing. You can tell because it has burgers on it. I don't remember what this was like specifically from, but I just remember that I used this as like an actual finish line. So, you know, you get like, you get your favorite race car here, and you put it on the finish line, and then it goes past the finish line, and then it dies. Oh my god, okay. Live reaction, this is a talking Mater, please still work. Damn it! Alright, I think that's all the footage that I needed. I think we're good here. Life is a highway. I won't ride.
Wait, why does Owen Wilson always look like he just got the shit beat out of him?
However, I've saved the best fact about this movie for last, that being the Muppets.
Come on, Diddy Daddy!
Because in the 2011 Muppets movie, and I'm not making this up, the final shot of the movie, like after the big grand musical number and everything, the camera pans up, and you can, for some reason, see plain as day, they put a billboard for Cars 2 in the movie. Like, why did this happen? Did they really need to promote Cars 2 in another full-ass Disney movie? You wanna know the craziest part, too? This movie came out 5 months after Cars 2. What was the goal here? Were they advertising the Holly Shiftwell DVD combo pack? And it's even funnier, because in Muppets Most Wanted, like, the movie, like, starts right after the first one, and they switched it out for an ad for Cars Land at Disneyland in California. I want to know who approved this. I want to shake their hand personally.
I'm gonna shake your hand.
And that about wraps it up for our little Lightning McQueen adventure. I didn't write an outro because I forgot. Yeah, so yeah, you all know the gist. Scarlet Plush still available. Go buy it if you want. That'd be cool. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring for the 1170th time. That's pretty cool. Schaeferless, if you want to fight me over the quality of Cars 2, I will gladly accept a boxing match at Creator Clash. You know how, like, when literally anything ever comes out and nobody likes it, and then, like, 20 years later, everybody starts liking it again? I want that to happen with this, and I want to be the person who starts all of it. I want this to be my fault. But yeah, I guess with that all being said, subscribe right now, or I'm gonna whack you with my unable to listen to Cars 2 Finn McMissile Theminator.